ended up actually that I found a remote job, and I actually moved to Bali really after moving to the Philippines first, but still, yeah. And I just love the vibe. I love the locals. The locals are absolutely beautiful people. They practice many different customs, which are beautiful and very spiritual. There's just some magic in it. I don't know. Like, I've traveled to many places, but there isn't anything like Indonesia and Bali for me, from that specific perspective of like how nice and genuine are people, and there's something really special. Maybe it's connected to some of my past lives. I don't know, but it was really, really profound for me. And just the community there is beautiful. So many people that we can connect and learn from and evolve. So yeah, I don't think I would be the person that I am today without that experience. It's really, really supported in my evolution.
So you had a spiritual awakening there.
Yeah, in Bali, yeah.
Yeah. So what led to that? Was it your intention, or was it like something that just happened out of nowhere?
I think it was very organic. I think it was a very organic process. But I remember that specific month that I spent there, and it was in 2016. It's certainly made me, you know, like I was that person before. Like I got born in a Christian Orthodox family, but I never really was connected to any kind of religious stuff or spiritual beliefs. Like that for me was like that. It was weird, you know. But when I was in Bali, that changed. So I started becoming open to that, and so that kind of openness brought up a lot of new stuff for me. So I just like became open to the idea, and I was like, oh, okay, there's, you know, like this actually, you know, feels right, and this is what I'm feeling, you know, synchronicities and what I'm experiencing in life. And then I connected it with some events of my life, and I was like, oh, so this is spirituality. And then I just started researching into that, and you know, it just evolved organically for me. But it was certainly that place that that you know, brought it up.
That's amazing. I can see how it could do it. It looks like such a beautiful place. I've yet to be there, but I would like to see it. It seems like it would be a wonderful place to visit and just spend some time.
Yeah, it's the place, it's the community, it's the events that are there, and so there's a huge spiritual community, and this was really a key to start, at least.
Yeah, I love to meditate. I feel like that would be that would be my main purpose for going.
Yeah, meditation is so important. Yeah.
So Clementina, so what happened? Tell the story, because I'm dying to know what happens.
So I guess like there are a couple of moments that are really key for me. Specifically, one moment happened in Bali in 2019. Even though like there was a journey like leading to that, but specifically that, like, so I launched one business already, and I thought to myself, wow, like I can be a creator actually, you know, I am innovative, and wow, I'm a business owner now, you know. It's like it was so surreal for me to sell my first like product. And so this is where the idea started evolving, and I was like, now I have to deal with all the fears and you know, anxieties or challenges that are coming up, because like I think it's time, you know. So I said that to myself, and I was like, I want to know if my worries about, you know, who I am, or that I'm not enough, that or this, you know, and anxieties are real, you know. And so I connected with a mentor of mine. We did a shadow work session, and I through that shadow work session, what happened is like I really on a deep level felt how much stress I was putting on myself, how much, in fact, like the most important thing that I noticed was like trust is one of my biggest values, yet I realized I did not trust myself. And this was the reason why I was hiding it always behind, you know, nonprofits, the corporate world, you know, but never really, like, even though I had a desire, never really doing something by myself, you know, because I didn't think I'm capable. I couldn't trust my desire, you know, and I had so many fears. So yeah, I didn't trust myself, and that opened up so much more. And all these stories that I've been telling myself since childhood, that I'm not good enough, that I'm not adequate, even feeling like a fraud, because a lot of the successes that I've had in my life, And there has been quite a lot of successes in the corporate world, even achieving like huge financial targets. But I would think like, oh, maybe this is because of the name that I work with, like one of the biggest corporates in the world, or then the UN environment as well. I've been working with on a initiative, on a UN environment initiative. And I always thought it's like, because of the name, or because I was lucky, or because I'm really hardworking. And so these stories came up, and there was just like a cellular level shift in me somehow. And so this was a key moment for me particularly, which just gave me this new fresh perspective that actually I am putting a lot of stress on myself, that I'm doing so many things simply because I didn't trust myself and my desires. And that was a big key for me. So since then, a lot has changed, and I now have an idea of what's real and what isn't, whereas before I didn't really know.
Okay,
Oh,
Tanda, I
there's a
have a
question.
question for you. How has meditation helped in reducing stress, anxiety, and self-confidence?
Yeah. Actually, meditation is beautiful. I think in this day and age, when we are so busy, and there's so much change, and this is the kind of like the slowest our society will evolve. It's becoming super rapid. People are very confused, very stressed, very anxious. And so I think meditation is absolute key, but not everybody knows how to do it. And I am not perfect either. So I think the key is just to find a good mentor, and to just stick with it, and to continue no matter what. To continue it, even if it's like 2 minutes or 20 minutes, but to be consistent. So sometimes my meditation is absolutely profound. Sometimes it's a struggle. So I think it's really about finding the right mentor who can really give you the keys about why meditation, maybe prepare your body. Like, for example, my meditation is like, I do Tantra Hatha Yoga. And so the Tantra Hatha Yoga prepares you pranically and physically for the meditation. And this actually improves the meditation too. But I have a very busy mind as well. So I must say, it's not always easy, but the more we do it, the better we become at that. And it certainly helps with stress and anxiety no matter what, even if you're not perfect, because at least you're spending the time with yourself, you're breathing. And if you do tantric hatha yoga or something similar, you have breath work before the meditation. And so breath is naturally supporting you with stress and anxiety.
So, Clementina, Kia and me and you, we know what is shadow work, but a lot of people don't know what is a shadow work. Can you explain to a little bit how that works and how it is?
Yeah. So, in fact, the term, I think, first was brought by Carl Gustav Jung. And the shadow is like, each of us has a shadow. Actually, you don't have to have suffered a real trauma or a trauma that you remember to have a shadow, because each of us actually have experienced something in the past, and we have taken it in a certain way. So each of us has these fixations that we acquired when we were young, and we told ourselves a story about how life works, and we told ourselves a story about how we are, or how the world is. And often this is destructive way of looking at the world. It comes from fear. It may come from a trauma, like Kia said. It may come from an event when you were abandoned, but maybe it was just your mom going for milk, and you felt really lonely, and that was a stressful situation for you, and you were like, oh my god, I can be abandoned. And then you always portray this side of you, in relationships, you're afraid to be abandoned, etc. So it can be really, really small thing, but children do not take it a small thing. A small thing can be a big thing for a child. And each of us acquired certain fixations when we were younger, and now actually those are on an autopilot. They run our life. So each of us has a shadow that is good for us to know at least what it is, so we can see how it's playing out in our life.
Okay.
So inner child wounds, essentially, and it can lead us to just go through life with these beliefs that are not necessarily the most constructive and healthy for us, but we act them out without even recognizing that we do it. So this is where becoming aware comes in, right? Like that's the first step.
Yeah,
It's,
exactly.
you can't make any sort of shifts if you are unaware.
Yeah, exactly. And just to uh, even add to that, so people can understand, when we are young, we are in an environment, and this environment is our parents, and it's the school system, it's our peers, relatives, and each of them had their own assumptions about how their life works, and each of them had their own wounds, and so we just see their behavior and just soak it all up, and we hear what they say, and so we just soak it all up, how mommy and daddy talk between each other, and kids soak up a lot of things. So this is how we make these assumptions, but we make them from people who have a lot of assumptions, so there is no, yeah, so you see, like, we base our stories, we base our truth, and we take everything as truth as a child based on people who have assumptions, and in the past people really didn't have access to these kind of tools where they could really understand what is the shadow or how to deal with a child, what not to say, what to say, to understand that children are so conscious. And so we are basically, our life is actually based on assumptions, and so knowing those assumptions is extremely powerful, because then you can see why you act in certain ways. And often the moments when we have certain challenge, like we have for example, a conflict with someone, or we have certain emotions, very often it can be connected to those beliefs or assumptions we made. And then they started becoming, we made an assumption, then we saw it somehow playing out in our life, and then we continued actually perpetuating that. And so we just got confirmation and confirmation and confirmation. So you become what you believe, actually. Yeah, this is how we work actually as humans. So it's interesting, when I dig into a conflict, let's say, for example, I can absolutely see that one of my childhood beliefs is playing out. So this is really interesting. Hello, Angeline.
I agree with that. I mean, it really ties into everything I've been talking about in the past, over 1 million episodes. So if you haven't seen them, pick your poison. There's so many on our Hot Topics Live Facebook page that you can choose, where you'll hear me talking about not only inner child wounds, but attachment styles. And so these assumptions that you're talking about inform the way we attach in all of our relationships, friendships, romantic relationships, and again, on autopilot. So, I mean, I hesitate because right now the term woke is getting so much heat and negative energy. So I have shifted to use the word aware, because I actually like that even better. Because once you're aware of these things and the way that you maneuver in relationships and the way you talk to people and connect with people in life in general, they are based on these assumptions of maybe it was something you overheard. And this is classic for me. So when I was young, my mom and my sister used to have these like talks. My sister is 8 years older than me, or 7 years older than me. And so she and my mom would have these talks about, dating and boyfriends, because she was a teenager, but I was like still a little kid, right? So I would hear all these conversations, and what it made me realize until I met my my ex-husband, that I had no respect for men, really. I had no respect for them. And it's a horrible thing to say, but
I'm coming back.
okay.